I do a little video of one of my eastern milk snakes eating. It's weird, this is the first time I ever gave this thing a pre-killed rat, and somehow he knew it was dead. He refused to constrict it. He just gently took it out of my hands and started swallowing it. I love the red eyes on these guys. He just shed. Look at his body here. Of course, I'm filming him through his tank, so there's going to be some glare. I keep his cage pretty naturally set up. A lot of limbs and leaves, places to hide. This guy's been a really good feeder. I've had him for about a year now. I really need to find a female for him. I've bred these guys before. They have unusually large eggs. You'd think for such a small snake you'd see small eggs, but you don't. Let's see if we can get any footage better from up here. Kinda, but it's shaky. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. See if we can get some chewing motion. See, this snake could actually move each of its top jaws independently of the other. Like the right side of the top jaw can move, and then the left side moves, and the same on the bottom, and they walk the food into their stomach that way. Of course, we're not going to film him finishing the whole thing because that would take a long time, but that is how they eat. Like I said, milk snakes are normally constrictors. If this had been a live mouse, he would have constricted it. But yeah, you can see the head spreading apart there. He'll have no trouble taking this mouse down. The mouse is about the same size around as he is. This is what they eat in the wild. They actually eat a lot of moles and voles in the wild, but they will take mice like this. They're not as popular as some of the other species of milk snake in captivity, and I'm really not sure why. They make great pets. They're gentle. They feed easily. They breed easily. But you can actually see the skin down between the top and bottom jaws spread apart. And all that twisting and turning it's doing with its body, the part of the mouse that's actually inside of it is actually getting kind of molded. It's covered in mucus and saliva. And as the snake turns around like that, it kind of molds it into position, makes it easier to go down. So snakes usually swallow things head first, is because going from the head down, the arms and the legs lay down. Alright, we're going to turn this off for a few minutes. I'll start it back up when he finishes so we can watch him finish. Okay, he's got a little bit more of it down. You can see him. You can see the scales, the skin in between the scales now. See, snake scales are not like fish scales. They don't scrape off. There's actually skin in between them. After a snake's ate a large meal, you can see that. And also, like I showed with the garter snakes, a defensive thing snakes do when they get scared is they'll puff their body up so that their scales separate, and in some species the skin between the scales is brightly colored, and it makes the animal look, well, more colorful, and I guess it thinks it's more ferocious. But yeah, this guy's got it almost done. We'll come back as he finishes. Another quick thing I forgot to mention is if you'll notice this animal's lower jaw, let's see if we can get it in focus better. Okay, the bottom half of the lower jaw, you know, in humans our chin is fused together. In snakes, that's not fused. There's a ligament there that allows each side of the bottom jaw to move independently and to walk back and forth. It's not fused at all. A snake has a really, really large gape. They're really good at swallowing things that are... They can swallow things that are long quite easier than they can things big around. They can stretch their mouth open really, really wide. But say if a python of some sort tried to take a human, it would have a really hard time getting past the human's shoulders, just because of the way humans are made. Snakes' mouths are designed to stretch up and down to a humongous degree, but not as much from side to side. Although they can stretch them from side to side quite well. You can see the mouse has moved about that far down the snake's body now. He's still just slowly going on. See how much he doesn't have much left. He's almost to the tail now. We'll start back up there. Here's a little bit of better view. We'll watch for a few moments. If I can get it in focus. He's just slowly walking it into his body. Okay, as a herper, no matter how many times you've watched a snake swallow an animal, it never gets old. This is one of the most endlessly fascinating things you can watch. As a herper or herpetologist, it's It's an amazing process. It's amazing process. I mean, imagine like eating a hamburger as big around as you are, but with no arms to help. You just had to use your mouth and you had to swallow it whole. Okay, as you can see, he's almost done. You can see the bottom jaw really spread out there. The mouse is pretty far back in the body now, about to there. You'll notice he uses his whole body to twist and contort. This shapes the mouse. You see the musculature. See how far the neck is spread apart. That was a big stretch there. When they get to the last little bit, they usually lift it up in the air. Whether or not he'll do that, I do not know. Yep, he's going to start to lift it. How far his scales are stretched apart. Now, a meal like this will last an adult snake. Oh, I feed him every week, but in the wild, after a meal like this, he could go potentially 3 weeks to a month. But I like to keep mine pretty fat and healthy. See the body start to move around now. He's starting to straighten himself out so he'll get a better straight shot to his stomach once he starts to swallow. He doesn't have much more to go. Now lift the side from him. This snake is pretty tame, which is why it's allowing me to film it do this. If you come upon a snake in the wild eating, typically they'll throw up their food immediately. See, they're pretty much helpless when they're like this. They can't use any part of their body. All their energy right now is devoted to eating, and it has no way to defend itself. So if you were to come upon this in the wild and bother the snake, it would spit up its food and run away. Don't do that, though, because that would cost it a meal, and coming by food in the wild is sometimes kind of hard. Looks like he's taking a little rest now, since he's almost to the end of it. Almost done. Now just the tail, which is kind of like a big spaghetti slurp, but you can see the mouse, it's getting pulled now by the muscles in the body. Well guys, hope you enjoyed watching this. He is done with his mouse, and we for now. Leave him alone. You see the mouse tail sliding down from the muscular contractions in the body? There it goes. One more slurp. Yep. And no more mouse. Basically, you have just witnessed one of nature's most perfect mouse traps. Have a good day, guys.